is going on, everybody? We are back with a bit of a different video. No, it is not getting competitive in Hearthstone, and no, it's not a gameplay video. It's kind of a top 5 list, if you couldn't tell from the title. Now, I do plan on making up some videos for the next expansion, which we're going to talk about a bit today. So if you want to leave a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. But today, this is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff, no script, no major editing. That's mainly for my own mental health. Don't love doing a lot of that stuff. So it's a top 5 list of the 5 decks I am most excited to play in the upcoming expansion, Murder at Castle Nathria. There will be time codes below if you want to jump around, as well as the deck lists, the deck codes, I'm sorry. And any content creator or friend that helped me out that has a Twitter or YouTube or Twitch, I will also link below, so be sure to check them out also. Now, if you could not tell from the beginning, this first page here, the deck number 5 I want to talk about, this is going in order from, I think, the most exciting to, it's going from the least exciting to the most exciting. So if you couldn't tell from this is Naga Priest. We're going to talk about that deck in a second, but the reason why it's number 5 is because this is an older deck. I feel like it was pretty prominent in the middle part of last expansion, the Sunken City, and I don't think there's anything really new going on here. The game plan is still the same. We're looking for Serpent Wig, and then we're going to just play our Nagas and buff them up so we can finish them off with a Bless. Now, this combo game plan is kind of supplemented now by a few new cards that we did put in the deck. The main ones being Pelagos. Pelagos is a new 3-mana legendary that says after you cast a friendly spell, set its attack, set the minions or attack or health to whichever is higher. So you can kind of just keep popping off with your Serpent Wigs and create a board that is just a bunch of blesses. You also get to add Partner in Crime, which can really snowball out of control. Yeah, there's high rolls with rating Elemental on turn 4, maybe even 3. But I think the real play here is get a Partner in Crime on 5, and then at the end of the turn, Partner in Crime summons a copy of itself, which means you have time to play the Serpent Wig on it, or if you're feeling bold, even a Bless, and you get 4-mana 7/7, or probably more likely a 4-mana 3/7. Both still very good. And then, because of Naga Priest's weakness, which was finding Wig, we only really had Thrive in the Shadows, and if you were crazy like me, we also ran Cleric of this guy. I don't know WoW names. But now with the new location's a new card archetype. You can give a minion +2/+1. Again, you're putting more stats on board, but you also get to draw a card, and hopefully that will get you drawn to Wig before turn 7, because if you draw, the later you go without a Wig, the harder it is to win. I've done it a few times, but really this deck is number 5 because it's an older deck with just some new upgrades, but it was my favorite deck from last expansion, and I'm excited to play it in a new form, a new fashion. This will really depend on its longevity in the format. If there is less removal in the format, a lot of combo priest decks that rely on cards like Bless, or in the old times, Holy Fire, I believe. If you couldn't stick a mini on board, you just lost the game. So hopefully there's a little less removal, and this deck can kind of really shine. The 4th deck, and this is 4 because I do not think this is the perfect 30. I do think it is the most fun 30 because of a card we'll talk about in a bit. But it is Enrage Warrior. Enrage Warrior is an archetype that I love playing quite a bit, and it's been kind of sad to see any kind of non-board based warrior. Like they haven't existed for the past years. We've had Pirate Warrior, which whatever, it's fine, and Control Warrior, which is just gain armor, pass, sleep. Sorry, Control players, that deck is boring. But now with a new not really new archetype, these cards have been around for a while, the style of card I should say, but now with some new cards, especially the Sanguine Depths, the location for Warrior, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it +1 attack, we have some activators for a lot of new cards, including Anima Extractor, which is a 2-mana 1/4 that buffs every minion in your hand whenever a friendly minion is damaged, not after, whenever. So If this dies because it's damaged, it still goes off. Also, we have the new weapon, which apparently is Bonkers Banana Imbued Axe, which is infused, which says whenever your hero attacks, give damage minions +1/+1. But when it's infused, which I believe is when 3 minions die, I think it's any minion, I could be wrong, it does +2/+2 instead. We also are pretty low to the curve here. We have Rokara, and we have Frothing Berserker, and Cruel Taskmaster, a lot of cards that are pretty old that kind of supplement our damage plan. We don't run a ton of draw in the deck. I was talking to Ridiculous Hat, and he was saying we just want to be low. That's why we don't have cards like, let me find it real quick, like Outrider's Axe for draw. It makes it really clunky, and we already have enough weapons. As a finisher, we have Rokara the Valorous and Decimator Ulgra. I believe a lot of cards will be damaged, so that'll be good. Rokara is damage every turn. And on top of that, we also have chip damage with Literal Rokara. But the reason why this deck is the best, and if this card ever becomes tier 1, I'm taking credit for it, is because of the card Reflecto Engineer. This card's bad, but it's fun. So what this does is it swaps the attack and health of all minions in both players' hands, and because of a lot of these cards like Crazed Wretch and Anima Extractor having more health than attack, including Warsong Envoy, Sinstone Totem, all these cards, you kind of boost the attack and your combo burst potential. It also works really well with Remorina, the Living Blade, which at minimum has 10 attack with this card. Now, again, the reason this is 4 is because this is a bit of a meme. I do like the low to the curve version of this deck, but I think Reflecto Engineer is not a good card. It's not going to make or break the deck. I think the ability to do a bunch of chip damage and then play the Crazed Wretches as maybe like an 8 attack minion to close out the game is probably more likely. But I am excited to play this deck with my boy or girl, Reflecto Engineer, for 3 games, realize the deck is bad, and then take it out. But really happy that Enrage Warrior is back. Hopefully it is good. I kind of suspect that, like with the last time Enrage Warrior was in Standard, it'll take a few weeks to kind of actually get the perfect 30 down. This does not feel like a deck you run 140 cards with, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to play Rokara again because that card is... Okay, so the second deck I'm calling Hybrid Mage. Originally this was called Skeleton Wildfire Mage or Wildfire Skeleton Mage, but that's a lot of syllables that I don't really want to be talking about. The whole idea of this deck kind of started as a full Frost build because we could run some of the new cards like Cold Case, which is nutty, summon a 2/2 Viatella Skeleton, summon 2/2 Viatella Skeletons, a lot of 2s, and then gain 4 armor. We also have the new location, Nightcloak Sanctum, freeze a minion and summon a 2/2 Viatile Skeleton. Now these skeletons are a new mechanic. It all comes up, kind of like hits its crescendo, if you will, with Kelsudad the Inevitable, who fills your board with these skeletons when it's played, and if any that don't fit on the board, explode. Volatile Skeletons, which I gotta find here, give me 1 second. Basically, they're 2 mana 2/2s that when they die, they deal 2 damage to a random enemy. So if 5 can't fit on your board, you'll deal 2 damage 5 times. Now, the original idea for this deck was a pure Frost build with some of the new cards like Solid Alibi, which is kind of a cool card. But as I kind of thought about it, played through it with my head, theorycrafted, I was like, this doesn't work as well as I want it to. I need a better win condition, and that's kind of where Wildfire came in. Still at this point, it was still a Frost build. Like, oh, we can stall out with Wildfire. And then as I thought about it a bit more, just having every one of the spell schools lets you run Multicaster, which is just a good card. But with Wildfire, you can kind of put your opponent on a timer, not just stall them out. And with cards like Reckless Apprentice, you can have a board clear. And also Mordresh is a closer for those style of cards also. And then any card is going to get replayed with, well, not replayed. It might cast a First Flame, unfortunately. So maybe you want to cut that so you will guarantee the Wildfire. But Magister Dawngrasp, their hero power scales up. You also have Wildfire, the potential to play it again. Also Commander Shafar, you can kind of curate your spells to play more Wildfires. Again, scale that up and kill the opponent. But the real finisher in this deck that I think a lot of people have been talking about is Kael'thas Sinstrider, which is a new 6 mana 4/7. Every third minion you play costs 0, so what you do is you play Kael'thas Sinstrider, you play Brand's Bronzebeard, and then either one of your finishers in Mordresh or Kel'Thuzad. Mordresh deals 20 damage, Kel'Thuzad just deals a bunch of damage based on the skeletons that it can't fit on the board, which if you're playing Kael'thas, Bran, and Kel'Thuzad is already 3 minions, so that means only 4 skeletons can fit on your board. Now, you have a limited amount of skeleton summoning, which I think might be a drawback for this deck. Maybe you want to run Volatile Skeleton instead. There is another Volatile Skeleton card, and I'm going to get really tired of saying that in any video I do. Deal 2 damage to all minions, summon a 2/2 skeleton. I'm not saying Volatile, I just did, but I'm not saying it again. For each killed. Now, 2 damage isn't a ton. It's not the best, so I think that's more meta dependent, but I think this deck in and of itself looks pretty smooth. I really like the Spell School stuff with this. This was actually a quest deck for a bit. Calm down. It's not anymore. I know. Stop typing. But I think without Enchantress Flow or what's that? Cram Session, it's a little less efficient. But I'm excited to play this one. I think a lot of people are. It's really cool to see Wildfire kind of grow into its own over the past almost year and a half at this point. Now, at number 2, I was very stuck between this Demon Hunter and Relic Demon Hunter, but I'm really excited to play something that isn't Fel right now. So I'm really excited to play No Hand Demon Hunter. For those of you who don't know, Demon Hunter got a whole bunch of Zoo cards that should have been Warlock cards, specifically Bibliomite, which is a 2 mana 4/4. Choose a card in your hand to shuffle it back into your deck so you do not discard it, you don't lose the card, and you get a bunch of stats. The other cool card that it got is Cryxis? Again, Hearthstone, WoW names, they're hard. The Voracious, which is Battlecry, discard your hand, which with this deck will be non-existent or very small, and then Death Rattle will draw 3 cards. Also, he's a 4 mana 7/7. It's pretty good. But the main draw for this deck is because you will have no hand a lot of the time is Magnifying Glaive. After your hero attacks, draw until you have 3 cards. So you empty your hand with pretty well-statted minions, including hopefully a buffed Metamorphin, Battle Fiend. You can flood the board with Wings of Hate, Battlesworn Vanguard, and also discount all these Wayward Sage to hopefully empty your hand for a low-impact discard or to refill it. You also have Dispose the Evidence, a new 0 mana spell. Give your hero +3 attack this turn, then choose a card in your hand to shuffle into your deck. That goes really well with your Dread Poison Glaive, and of course, because this card is busted, you have Kurtrus Demon Renderer. This is not going to be as offensive, I think, as that aggro Naga Demon Hunter, but I think this deck itself kind of reminds me a bit of Shadow Priest, a deck I also loved. And it feels super low to the ground, super just dump your hand and just get them. And I'm really excited to play that style again. We have been missing that quite a bit in Sunken City. Before we get on to the last deck, I do want to shout out Dankest Dad and Sidisi, 2 people that were talking on my original theory crafting thread. I have a Twitter, by the way. You should follow it. It's down below. I was also very excited to play Wildstone Hunter, but I could not find a version of the deck I was excited to play. Dankest Dad suggested a Face Hunter with it. Sidisi said that my version that I put together, which is a big Beast Hunter, wasn't very good, which was probably true. Sidisi knows Hunter cards and Hunter archetypes. And because I just couldn't find a Wild Seed deck I was super excited about. But shout out to those guys. Their links are in the description below. And let's get on to the last deck. Okay, now the angry keyboards can come out. The last deck is Implock. Now, I'm excited to play both versions of Implock that I've seen. There's the Aggro Zoo version, but I'm excited to play the Bomb, Mine, Phylactery combo version. I know. I'm sorry. I know there's people out there who are going to be like, the worst person. And it's true, I probably am. But let's talk about this deck. So the way this deck works is Impending Catastrophe is a nutty card. draw a card, then repeat for each imp you control. I read this wrong the first time and I thought it was draw a card for each imp you control. No, you draw the card first, then you draw again if you control more imps. And guess what? We can make imps, a lot of imps, pretty easily. Fiendish Circle, 3 mana, summon 4 1/1 imps. That's 2 mana, draw 5. We also have Wicked Shipment. We have 2 of them, so we can kind of scale this up. Now, the whole point of this deck is to combo that with Ruined Mithril Rod. Ruined Mithril Rod discounts your hand every 4 draws by 1. So you do that, you kill your Naval Mine, which deals 4 damage to the enemy hero, and then eventually you build a board with your Wicked Shipments, or now your Fiendish Circles. You play Tamsin Rome, and then you play Tamsin's Phylactery. You copy the battle cry of Naval Mine, then you kill your board with Hellfire, or maybe something else if you've had to use your Hellfires. And then that will deal, hopefully if you have a full board, 56 damage to the enemy hero and kill them. Now, there's some extra different little things going on with this deck that I've talked with some other creators, Warlock main on my Twitter about. Her name is Rhea. She's awesome. Multicaster goes in this deck. I was originally running Full-Blown Evil. She suggested either Multicaster or Entitled Customer, which I'll show you right now if you don't know off the top of your head. It's a 6 mana 3/2, which, oh, I have on Legendary, that's why. Basically, it's a 6 mana 3/2 that says deal damage equal to your hand to all other minions. It's good. She suggested that, or Multicaster. I think you could also run Spice Bread Maker. Similar idea to Entitled Customer, where you heal, restore hero health to your hero for each card in your hand. Just double check the area here. Restore health to your hero equal to your hand size. I've chosen Multicaster because we are a combo deck. We are trying to run through our deck, but I can see the merit to all of those. We also are running Goldshire Knoll. For early removal, costs 1 less for each card in your hand. And this deck just looks super efficient at what it's doing. Mainly because I think this is probably the best card in the set, if not top 3. And I don't know, I suspect Implock, either this version or the aggro version, will be touched in some way, because that's just a lot of draw. I am excited to play the aggro zoo version of Implock, but this deck just feels right up my alley. I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to play some Warlock again that isn't curses, because curses are bad and they're boring. I'm not sorry for saying that either. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I will be back tomorrow. I know this is coming out pretty close to the evening, the expansion eve. But I wanted to take some time to make sure this was something I wanted to put out. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll be back, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow with a video on one of these decks, or maybe something else. I know Viscious Syndicate put out their 30 lists to try day 1. I might take one of those because I saw a Shadow Priest in there, and I'm like me, Void touched attendance. But no, seriously guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with at least one video. I'm going on vacation out of town next week, so hopefully I can get together a video like one for Tuesday and Friday for the rest of the week to kind of keep everything tied over until I get back. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Take it easy.